Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Down to the Wire. I'm Donna Sarkar and I have Matthew Martinez here with me today to talk about the Left Behind series recently published in The Wire. The Left Behind series is an investigative piece that looked at former Marquette student Walter Spence's death in the late 1970s. Hey Martz, how's it going?
I'm doing good, Donna. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
So to start off, tell me a little bit about why you specifically decided to look at Walter Spence's story and what about it interested you.
Well, I have to say, it's not really that I found this story. It's kind of that the story found me. It's one of those things where around December of last year, right around Christmas break, we published a story that I got to write about this list of names that had just come out of the Jesuit provinces it was basically just priests with credible abuse allegations, and one of the people on that list was a guy named Francis Landermeyer. So once we put that story out there, we started getting, obviously traffic and stuff with that, and somebody in Chicago, a source that ended up being incredibly helpful during the entire thing, gave us a tip to start looking into this story, basically, because I was aware that there were suicides before throughout Marquette's history, but I didn't know that any of them would be connected at all with a priest. And essentially, we started looking at these court documents and stuff like that. We were able to kind of find all of these different things linking essentially what was a counselor and his student who had just committed suicide at the time. So, essentially it was one of those things where we kind of almost jumped in with both feet immediately. By the time I got done talking with my source, we had a ton of information about this. So really it was kind of just owing to the fact that we had written something else beforehand, and we were going to look into the stuff anyway, but there was just way more to it than we thought there was going to be.
Sure, and how long do you think that the whole process took you?
About 4 months.
Wow.
About 4 months. We started in January of this year, and the research, the interviews and stuff like that, getting the documents for ourselves and being able to comb through them, that took at least until probably mid-March, and then we took another week or so to get everything squared away. I had more interviews to do. It took a while to find some of the people that we had, and without some of the help that we got from Chicago, it probably would have been a little bit longer, to be honest with you, but we got it done in 4 months, which was pretty crazy because there was a lot to do. So, yeah.
Well, of course. And what do you think the hardest part about this story was to tell for you?
I think the most important part of the story was definitely the family aspect. I think that, Walter's dad and his brother told basically the most impactful parts of the story, and unfortunately Walter's dad's no longer with us, so it was kind of hard to try and tell his part of the story without being able to actually interview him or really talk to him at all. So you're relying mostly on secondhand accounts, you're relying on documents and stuff like that don't really tell the whole story, but his part of the story was most impactful for me, because I think that's where the heart and soul of it lies, a father who's trying to find out what happened to his son, essentially.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it, and this is a great story that you worked really hard on. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have. Back to the studio.